this video, I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this really lovely granny mesh shawl. I'll be showing you how to crochet this granny mesh pattern itself and also how to crochet this really sweet little border which I put around all three edges of my shawl as a nice final flourish. For my shawl, I used two of the Lion brand Mandala Baby Cakes in the colorway Acre Woods with a 4mm crochet hook. However, you are free to use any yarn and any hook size that you so wish for this shawl. To begin, we're going to start with a magic ring and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 chains count as a double crochet and chain 1. Then working into the magic ring, we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, 1, 2. Work 3 more double crochet back into that ring. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 1 and work a double crochet back into that ring for the final stitch. Then you can go ahead and pull this magic ring closed. For row 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again this counts as 1 double crochet and a chain 1. Then turn your work and working into the chain 1 space in between the double crochet and your set of 3 double crochet from the row below, we're going to work 3 double crochet. So a granny cluster of 3 double crochet stitches straight into that chain 1 space. Then chain 1 and into this chain 2 space, which is the top of your triangle shawl. I like to call it the spine, the bit that runs right down the center. Into this chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochet. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochet all into that same space. Then chain 1 and into this chain 1 space at the end. So you've got your 3 double crochet and your starting chains from row 2. So you've got these 4 chains here. Into that space, that chain 1 space right at the end, we work 3 double crochet. Chain 1. And then into the top of this turning chain, you'll already have covered one of the chains with your 3 double crochet here. So just sort of aim for the top. It's the third of those 4 chains that we're aiming for, but don't worry too much, just the sort of natural top of that turning chain. Technically, it is the third chain of your chain 4. Into that turning chain, we work 1 double crochet. Try to catch 2 strands of that chain if you can, but don't worry too much if you can't. For row 3, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, that counts as a double crochet and chain 1. Turn your work and work 3 double crochet into that chain 1 space. Chain 1 and into the next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet. Chain 1 and then you will be at your chain 2 central spine. Into that chain 2 space, we work 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 more double crochet all worked into that same spot. Then coming down this next side, we're going to chain 1, find the next chain 1 space, so it's in between your sets of granny clusters from the row below, work 3 double crochet, chain 1 into this end space, so in between your turning chain and your granny cluster from the row below, right into this end space, work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and work a double crochet into the third chain of your chain 4 turning chain. It will be the top because you'll already have covered one of those chains by working these 3 stitches. So just aim for the top. It's the third one, 1, 2, 3, but don't stress too much. Again, try and catch 2 loops of the chain if you can. For row 4, again, we're repeating that sort of granny row. So row 4 is simply a repeat of row 3, but with 1 extra side cluster as we're working. So for row 4, chain 4, again, this counts as a double crochet, chain 1, turn and work 3 double crochet into that chain 1 space. Then working up the side of your shawl, we'll chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. So as your shawl grows larger on these granny sections, you'll have 1 extra granny cluster to make every time the side grows. Then once you have come up the side, we're going to chain 1. You'll be at your chain 2 central spine, and into there we work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 more double crochet, all into the same chain 2 space. Then coming down this second side, we're going to chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space from the row below. And then again, chain 1, 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space. You keep repeating this until you've run out of chain 1 spaces to work into. So I'm down the end here. I've still got another chain 1 space, so I will chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into that very last chain 1 space. Then to end this row, chain 1 and work a double crochet into the third chain of your initial chain 4 from the row below, so that turning chain, but it will be the top. So it will be the only bit you can see because we're covering up that extra 4th chain with these stitches. Trying to catch 2 loops if you can. And your first 4 setup rows for this Granny Mesh shawl are complete. So from this point, we are now going to be working an 8-row pattern repeat. Now that sounds like a lot and very overwhelming. So rows 5 to 12, the next 8 rows are the pattern repeat rows. But broken down really simply, what we're going to be doing is 4 mesh rows followed by 4 granny rows. That's all it is. 4 mesh rows, 4 granny rows, 4 mesh rows, 4 granny rows. It is very simple to remember once you get the hang of it. Please don't let the fact it's an 8-row pattern repeat put you off, because essentially it's very simple and not much changes in between on these repeated rows. Okay, so row 5 marks the start of the pattern repeat rows. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again this counts as a double crochet and chain 1. We're going to turn and work into the same stitch that you just chained from, work 1 double crochet into the top of it. Now chain 1, find the next double crochet, so we're skipping over the chain 1 space and into the top of the next stitch, work a double crochet. So skip the chain 1 space and work a double crochet into that first stitch. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip a stitch and double crochet into the next. We're going to be repeating this all the way up the side. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the next stitch. Then chain 1, skip the next stitch and double crochet into the one after that. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next. So you work this all the way up until you reach this chain 2 space. We're going to chain 1 and into the chain 2 space, work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 more double crochet. Then we're going to work down the next side, so chain 1, work a double crochet into the very next stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next. So you're creating this mesh where you are skipping either the chain 1 space or a stitch each time. Keep going. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next, and then when you have reached your way all the way back down over to this other side where you've got your chain 4 turning chain for the row below, we're going to chain 1 and then into this third stitch, the third chain of your chain 4 turning chain. So this is where we do need to pay attention. So skip that first chain and into the next one. So the third chain of your turning chain, we work 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 more double crochet into that same spot. For row 6 is the second mesh row. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn and work a double crochet into that exact same stitch where you just chained from. Now row 6 is easier than row 5. We're going to chain 1, skip the chain 1 space and double crochet into the top of the double crochet from the row below. And working all the way up the side, we will chain 1, skip the chain 1 space and double crochet into the double crochet from the row below. So we're forming these nice long columns of double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between. So nice and simple, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the next stitch. We work this all the way up until we reach that chain 2 spine. So here is my chain 2 spine, and I've just finished my final double crochet of this first side on the way up. Then we're going to chain 1 if you haven't already, and into this chain 2 spine we work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 double crochet. Then working down this second side, we're doing the same thing again. We're going to chain 1, work a double crochet right into the top of that next stitch, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the next stitch all the way back down, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the stitch, then as you reach this other far side, keep going with your chain 1 and double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and when all you have left is those 4 turning chains from the row below, we're going to chain 1 and into the third chain. So just skip 1 and work into the next, which is the third chain up. We work 1 double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet into that same spot. Now row 7 is the third mesh row, and it is an exact repeat of row 6. So we're going to do the same thing all over again. Chain 4, turn and work a double crochet into the top of that same stitch where you just chained from. Then working all the way up the side until you get to this chain 2 top space. We're going to chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the stitch from the row below, not the chain. Chain 1, skip that chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the double crochet from the row below. Work this all the way up the side. Once you reach your chain 2 space, I've just worked my final double crochet into the top of the final double crochet on this side. Here's the chain 2 space. We're going to chain 1 and into the chain 2 space, work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 double crochet. Then coming back down this second side, we're going to chain 1, double crochet into the top of the next double crochet from the row below, then chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the stitch all the way down. Once you reach the far side and you've worked your last double crochet into the last double crochet stitch before that turning chain, we're going to chain 1 and into the 3rd chain of your turning chain, work 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 more double crochet. So we now have 3 mesh rows. Now for row 8, it is the 4th and final mesh row, and again it is a repeat of row 6. So rows 6, 7 and 8 are all exactly the same. Chain 4, turn, double crochet into that same stitch where you just chained from. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the stitch from the row below, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of that double crochet from the row below, all the way up until you get to your chain 2 space along this first side. Once you reach the top and you're at the chain 2 space, chain 1 and into that chain 2 space work 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 double crochet. Then to come back down the second side, chain 1, double crochet into that double crochet that is right there. And then it is exactly the same. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, double crochet into the top of the next stitch, all the way down this second side, just as you did for row 6 and just as you did for row 7. We're doing the exact same thing for row 8. Once you are over at the other edge and you just have your chain 4 turning chain, we're going to chain 1 and into that 3rd chain of those 4, 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 double crochet to finish row 8. So those are your 4 mesh rows complete. So this is what I meant about not being put off by the 8-row pattern repeat for this. It is 4 mesh rows. We're now going to do 4 granny rows. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And the nice thing is for these mesh rows, you have row 5 and then row 6, 7 and 8 are exactly the same. So there's only 2 rows that you really have to learn for this mesh section. So row 9 begins the first of 4 granny rows to complete this granny mesh pattern repeat. So for row 9, we are going to chain 4 and turn, and then into this first chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet for your granny cluster. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space and work 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. So we skip the chain 1 space where we chain 1 in between these granny clusters coming up the side. Again, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space and 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space after that. So skip a chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Again, chain 1, skip a chain 1 space, and work 3 double crochets into the chain 1 space after the skipped one. So you'll always be skipping a chain 1 space on your first granny mesh row. So this granny where you're working into the mesh, we're going to be skipping a mesh hole each time. Chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the space after that. Chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the space after. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. So we're going to work this all the way up this first side. Chain 1, skip a chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the next. And then as we reach the top, we're going to chain 1, skip a chain 1 space, and the next space will be your chain 2 space. Into that chain 2 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 more double crochet, all into the same chain 2 space. Now working back down your second side, we're going to chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, and work 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space after that. Just as we did on the way up, we're doing the same on the way back down on this second side. Chain 1, skip a chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the space after. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Keep working this all the way down. And as you reach the far side of this second side, that doesn't make any sense. As we're reaching the end of this second side of your triangle shawl, we're going to chain 1, skip a chain 1 space just as we have been, and into this turning chain at the end, work 3 double crochet. Then chain 1 and work a double crochet into the third of these 4 chains from the row below. Again, just as in the start, you'll have covered up one of those chains, so it will be the top, but we're aiming for the top, a double crochet into that third chain if you can. If you're not that precise, no one will know. So that was row 9, the first of 4 granny rows. So rows 10, 11 and 12 that we're about to do now are exactly the same as each other. So just as for these mesh rows, we had row 5, which was different from 6, 7 and 8, but 6, 7 and 8 were all exactly the same as each other. The same applies here. Row 9 is different. Rows 10, 11 and 12, exactly the same. So for row 10, we are going to chain 4, turn and work 3 double crochet into that first chain 1 space. Now working up this first side all the way up to your chain 2, we are going to chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space from the row below. We're not skipping anything. We're not needing to worry like we did on the last one. We are just working into each chain 1 space all the way up. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. All the way up. Nice and simple. Classic granny shawl rows are now here. It's a lot easier. You don't have to think. You can disengage your brain, chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space, all the way up this first side. Once you hit this chain 2 space, we're going to chain 1 if you haven't already, and into that chain 2 space, work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3 more double crochet, all into that same chain 2 space. Now working down this second side, we're going to chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space from the row below. And we're going to do this all the way down. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Right the way down this second side of your shawl. Whoop! Don't be like me, don't disengage your brain too much. I forgot my chain 1 in between there. I disengaged entirely. Don't forget these chain 1s in between your granny clusters. They're very important for this pattern. Also, gold star for anyone who may have noticed that before I did. So I'm all the way over and down towards this end of this second side. Into this last chain space, work your 3 double crochet. And end with a chain 1 and a double crochet into the third of these 4 chains for your turning chain. So row 11 and 12, the next 2 rows, are exactly the same as row 10. So this row that we have just done, we're going to repeat 2 more times. So for row 11, exactly the same as row 10, chain 4, turn, 3 double crochet into that chain 1 space, then working up the side, we are going to chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space, all the way up until you get to the chain 2 right at the very top. Once we have run out of chain 1 spaces up this first edge to work into, you'll be at your chain 2, chain 1 if you haven't already, and into this chain 2 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 more double crochet, all into the same chain 2 space. Then working down this second edge, we're doing exactly the same thing. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into your chain 1 space. From the row below, just as we did on the way up, we're doing the same on the way back down. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space, all the way down towards that turning chain. Once you've reached all the way over to this far side, I'm going to chain 1, 3 double crochet into this end space, so the chain 1 space of this turning chain, chain 1 section, chain 1 and end with a double crochet into that third chain of your chain 4, which will be naturally sitting at the top there. Then for row 12, which is the final of these pattern repeat rows and your 4th granny row, we're going to do exactly the same thing again. Exactly the same thing. Chain 4, turn, 3 double crochet into the chain 1 space, then working your way up until you get to this chain 2 central spine of your shawl. We're going to chain 1 and work 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. So just as you did on row 10 and just as you did on row 11, row 12, exactly the same. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space, all the way up this first side. Once you have run out of chain 1 spaces to work into, you're up to your chain 2 central spine, chain 1 if you haven't already, and into that chain 2 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 more double crochet, all into the chain 2 space. Then coming back down this second edge, chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain 1 space, all the way back down. Right at the end here, into this chain 1 space, so your turning chain, those 4 chains count as a double crochet and chain 1, so I'm calling this your chain 1 space, chain 1 and end with a double crochet into that third chain from your turning chain. So those are the 8 pattern repeat rows. Rows 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. To grow your shawl, you're going to repeat rows 5 through to 12 over and over and over until your shawl is the size that you want it to be. Now, personally, I found it easier thinking it as 4 mesh rows, 4 granny rows, 4 mesh rows, 4 granny rows. It just kind of broke down those 8 repeating rows just better for me in my brain. You will get really fast at making this shawl. This is probably one of the fastest shawls I think I've ever made using this granny mesh pattern. So once your shawl is the size that you want it to be, and you've repeated rows 5 through to 12 over and over and over and over again, and you have a full size shawl, however big you want it to be, as a final little flourish at the end, I put this really adorable little picot border around all three edges of my shawl. So to do the border, once you have finished your final repeat of granny sections, do not cut your yarn. And for the border, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now, working into the top of that same stitch where we just chained from, work 1 single crochet. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to turn these 3 chains on top of this single crochet into a picot stitch. So to do that, I'm going to slip stitch underneath the front loop and the horizontal bar of my single crochet. So that creates this cute little picot sitting right on top of my single crochet. Now chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and find the middle stitch of your granny cluster. So the second double crochet of your sets of 3, the one right in the middle, and work a single crochet in there. Then we work that little chain 3 picot again. So chain 3 straight up, and then slip stitch under the front loop of your single crochet and that far horizontal bar, work a slip stitch. So your little chain 3 picot sits up on top of your single crochet. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And find the next granny cluster, so the next one across, find that middle stitch, that second of those 3 double crochets, work a single crochet into the top of it. Then we work our picot, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch under the front loop and the horizontal bar of the single crochet. So what we're doing is a single crochet into the middle stitch of your granny cluster, little chain 3 picot on top, then a chain 3 horizontally to span the gap. So after you've made your little picot, chain 3, find your next granny cluster, that second double crochet, work a single crochet into the top of it. So a chain 3 to span the gap, single crochet, then picot on top. So 3 chains and slip stitch under the front loop and the horizontal bar of your single crochet. Then again, chain 3 to span the gap, single crochet into that middle stitch of your group of 3 from the row below, then create your little picot, which is 3 chains and then slip stitching into the top of that single crochet and the horizontal bar. We're going to repeat this all the way up until we get to your chain 2 spine. So nice and simple, chain 3 to span the gap, find that middle stitch from your granny cluster, single crochet into the top of it, then work a picot, which is 3 chains and then slip stitch under the front loop and the horizontal bar of the single crochet. 3 to span the gap, single crochet, 3 to make a picot. 3 to span the gap, single crochet, 3 to make a picot. All right, once you reach your chain 2 central spine here, I've just done my little picot. We're going to chain 3 to span the gap, and into the chain 2 space, work a single crochet and your chain 3 picot. And that's it. Nice and simple. Then chain 3 to span the gap, and into that second, on the second side, that second stitch, your middle stitch of your group of 3, we're just continuing exactly the same. Single crochet, chain 3 picot in the top, then chain 3 to span the gap, and single crochet into that middle stitch from your granny cluster, then chain 3 picot on top, keep working this down the second side. So this is my last granny cluster on this second side. So I'm working my little chain 3 picot, then chain 3, and into the third chain of your turning chain, work a single crochet and pop the chain 3 picot on top. And that is the 2 main edges of your shawl complete border wise. If you want to end it here, you absolutely can. You can just chain 1, fasten off, shawl is complete, flip it back around, and you'll see your little picots looking absolutely adorable along that edge. However, I also continued mine along this raw bottom edge of the shawl. So if you'd like to do that too, I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. So to work this along your bottom raw edge, it's really simple. You finished your last little picot there, so we're going to chain 3 to span the gap, and then into this end space of your row, work your single crochet in there. So we're working around these stitches into all of these little chain spaces down this raw edge. Work your chain 3 picot, chain 3 to span the gap, single crochet into the next end space of your shawl. Chain 3 picot, chain 3 to span the gap, single crochet into this next space along the edge. Going to repeat this the whole way across. Got your chain 3 picot, chain 3 to span the gap, single crochet into the space at the end of the rows, chain 3 picot. Work it the whole way across. Once you hit this little section with your magic ring right where you started, we're not doing anything different. We are just doing a chain 3 to span the gap, and then single crochet into the next space at the end. So I have skipped over the start of your shawl entirely. And carry on with your chain 3 picots and your chain 3s to span the gap. Once you have worked your way all the way back round to the very beginning into this end space, don't forget we need a single crochet and your little picot detailing. Then chain 3. And to finish, we're going to slip stitch to the very first single crochet that you made, just under both loops of that single crochet. Then chain 1, cut your yarn, leaving a nice long end to weave in, fasten off, and all that is left for you to do is to weave in this end that you just cut, the end from your magic ring, and obviously any ends you may have from changing colour or adding a new yarn, and your granny mesh shawl will be complete. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you go on to make your very own granny mesh shawl. Please do let me know what you think of this shawl down in the comment section. And until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.